Welcome, Lynx here. We are playing more of Crystalline, of course, because this game needs to be finished up as well. We started it, we need to finish it. That's kinda obvious. We are not leaving the games behind without finishing them. That's how it works over here. Let's get to it. Let's see if we can actually find that hidden city, lost city. Which name I don't remember. So next morning, we regroup downstairs at the inn as planned. Boop.
Is everyone now prepared to begin our journey?
Absolutely. Why not?
Then let us depart.
She leads the way out of the inn and back into the quiet city. Remnants of last night's festival litter the ground in a series of petals and general debris. I mean, petals, not bad. In our world, it would be plastic bottles, probably food, etc, etc. It would not look good at all. Our humanities. Trash, unfortunately. The cleanup detail is hard at work. They wear thick gloves as they half-heartedly remove the decorations and debris. I wonder how long they've been working on this. The festivities continued even after I threw in my hat and went to bed. Leanna and I share a glance and she smiles. We follow Amelia through the twists and turns of the city. Where exactly are we going?
To the Crystal Rail Station.
Crystal Rail. Sounds like it might be a train. Leanna speaks up before I even ask.
Where are we taking the Crystal Rail to?
Bazada.
She looks up in surprise.
Ember Mist is in Bazada?
They say you can find anything there.
She shoots Zach a look which he returns with his usual stony gaze. What's so surprising about Bazada?
It's just closer than I expected.
No, Ember Mist is not within Bazada, but Bazada is the closest station to the location of Ember Mist.
Leanna still seems skeptical but doesn't push it. I guess we'll find out whether or not Amelia is right. We continue the rest of the way in silence. After a few minutes we arrive at the station. The setup is a simpler version of our train stations back home. The ticket booth is right across from the entrance. While they sort out retrieving tickets, I look around. Vendors selling food and trinkets like line perimeter of the enclosed space. The building is mostly empty at this time of morning. You know what, now that I think about it, I think they did finish cutting the grass, so I will allow myself some fresh air over here, which is definitely needed. It's hot! Anyway, the building is mostly empty at this time of the morning.
We must hurry if we wish to catch the next Crystal Rail. It is nearing the platform.
Once we get our tickets, we rush down a back hallway which opens up to the platform. Yeah, it looks like a train station. A fancy one. Arriving at the platform is a sleek bullet train, porcelain white with windows dotting the sides. My jaw drops as I watch it hover over the tracks. Oh, so wind magic as well. A pair of long crystal rows run along the bottom of the train with identical crystal rows lining the track. This is so cool! It's not that big of a deal. Next page. This is so cool! I feel almost giddy as we line up to board. I can't believe I'm about to ride on a hover train. Leanna cocks her head to the side.
Is this not something you're used to?
Not exactly. We have trains too, but they mostly run on diesel and electricity now. The original models were powered by steam. Leanna's eyes widen.
That must be some powerful magic.
That's not magic, but just boiling water. This is magic. Leanna smiles. The Pongo eyes the crystals on the train. His mouth went to open in anticipation. Leanna notices and snatches him up. He wriggles at first, but after she gives him a few pats on the head, he calms down and grins at her. We're about to board the train when the attendant stops us.
Sorry, Pongas are not allowed due to equipment which are sensitive to energy absorption.
What?
Oh,
Huh? Leanna looks sadly at the blue guy in her arms.
I'm sorry, my friend, but I think this is where we say goodbye.
No! He blinks back at her in confusion, a worried smile on his face.
Boy?
Leanna's lip trembles.
I'm sorry.
She gives him a final hug and sets him down on the ground. Then, with glassy eyes full of tears, she rushes into the train. The Pongo blinks.
Boy?
Amelia cooks her head to the side and looks at it. The Pongo mimics her.
Boy?
I have not known you long, but I will be saddened to see you go.
She nods and then hops on the train. Zack looks at the Pongo and instinctively his hand protects his gun.
Try not to eat anyone else's weapon.
Boy?
The Pongo blinks at Zack's retreating form. Finally, it's my turn. Hey, come on, man. You are from the other world. You know you will stay. You. Not to mention, you have my blood. You are, unfortunately, Polish a little bit because of that, I guess. No, this guy is American. But if you were Polish, you would sneak that Pongo onto the train. I'll miss you. He blinks and grins.
Boy?
I didn't expect this to be so difficult. He cocks his head to the side and tries again.
Boy?
I'm sorry, little buddy, but this is as far as we can go together. He tries to hop up onto my shoulder as he's down so many times in the past, but I don't let him. I'm sorry, but you have to stay here. No! I quickly turn away and head onto the train. While other people board the train, I join the rest of my group. Leanna tries to control her sniffles, while Amelia looks down at her feet. Zack acts as casual as always, but the note he gives me feels lackluster. We're all feeling the loss of the Pongo. He was my first friend when I came to this world. After we've had a moment to compose ourselves, we search for our train cabin. We pass through a few cars before we finally find our cabin towards the end of the train. Whoa. Amelia slides open the door and then shuts it immediately.
Impossible.
What's going on? She opens the door again and we all peer inside. Inside the cozy cabin are plush seats, a rack above the seats to hold in luggage, and a rectangular table in the counter. There is also a Pongo bouncing happy on the seats! Hell yeah!
Boy!
Let's go!
Pongo!
Leanna squeals excitedly and scoops him back up into the big hug. We all fall into the cabin after her and shut the door before anyone notices the Pongo. When Leanna notices our stairs, she clears her throat and sets him back down.
But how did you get in here?
Seriously, weren't you just outside a second ago? How'd you get in here and find our cabin before we did?
Boy!
Impossible.
I think the Pongo broke Amelia. Zack, as unfazed as always, plops down to one of the seats and leans back.
Some things just can't be explained.
With how often the Pongo seems to disappear and reappear unexpectedly, you'd think we'd be used to it by now. I take a seat as well and the Pongo hops into my lap. Leanna pouts as the Pongo moves away from her. I'm sorry. That's how it is, okay? He likes me more. Pongo likes me more. Amelia seems to have recomposed herself and also takes a seat. Not much later, I feel the jerk of the train departing and hear the calming hum of the engine. Both Leanna and Amelia stare out of the window. Zack has his head down, his arms crossed. I think he may be asleep, but it's hard to tell. Remembering how I found him at the campsite, I can only assume this guy can literally sleep anywhere. My eyes feel droppy too. What? Arlie went all out last night and did not get enough sleep. I doubt anyone will mind if I just caught up on a few of those hours I lost. When I waken, everyone else is awake too, and looking more bored than ever. Only the Pongo snoozes in my lap. How long was I asleep for? Leanna glanced at me.
Just a few hours.
Are we almost there?
No. We will not arrive before tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yes.
What am I going to do with all this spare time? I automatically reach on my pocket to pull out my phone, forgetting for a second that it doesn't work. Shoot! But then my hand closes in on something equally good. I pull out my deck of cards and lay them out on the table. Leanna cranes her neck to see better.
What do you have there?
Cards. I cut the deck and shuffle them. I actually suck at that. Want to play something? There's enough people that we can play cheat.
How do you play that?
Yeah, how do you play that? It's easy. Each round you will put a card from your hand face down on the center of the table and say what card it is. Like this. Huh? I put one down as an example. One king. Then everyone else at the table can declare whether or not I'm telling the truth. If you think I'm lying, you can call out Cheetah and I'll have to reveal the card. If I was lying, then I take all the cards in the pile. If I was telling the truth, then whoever accused me takes all the cards in the pile and the next person starts a new round. You win by having no cards in your hand.
Sounds like fun. I'll play.
Sounds like fun. Is it? Does it? Amelia looks thoughtful.
Although I have not partaken in this game before, this sounds like it would be a stimulating challenge.
I glance at Zach. You win? He shakes his head.
I'll pass.
Leanna frowns.
Why not? I know that mercenaries love card games. And it's not like there's much else to do while we wait.
It's just not my type of game.
I bet you need money on the table. I bet it's all about money on the table, yeah. Let's up the stakes here. As a mercenary, I think I know what can spark his interest. What if we play for money? Zach sits up and looks at me.
I thought you didn't have money.
I do have money. I fish in my pockets and drop the loose change I have on the table. It's just not usable here. Amelia leans in close and peers the money. Even Leanna takes an interested glance.
I fail to recognize this type of currency.
Well, I'm not exactly from Isaria. Amelia stares intently at me again. After a long pause, she looks back at the coins.
I see.
I point out the different types of change I have. Make sure you get the pennies. They are almost the most valuable.
Are these not made from copper?
Yes.
And the nickel would be made from nickel?
Yes.
Then suffice it as to say, should not the nickel be more valuable than the penny?
Fuck. Damn, she got me. Zach leans back into his seat.
If it's not money I can use, then I'm not interested.
Zach.
I will pay you for his coins.
Zach sits back up.
Go on.
For any coin of his you receive, I will trade you one of our coins.
Amelia, you really don't have to do that.
Leanna is good. Someone is trying to convince him to play. No, don't do it. Zach, no, I don't want to play. No, you have to play. Come on.
I know.
Leanna looks uneasily between Zach and Amelia.
Alright. Deal.
As Zach settles in, I deal out the card. Zach frowns when he looks at his hand.
These cards are strange.
Like I said, I'm not from Azaria. Or Isaria, whatever. I give a brief rundown of the suits and face cards. When I look up from my hand, I see Amelia stare at me. This is getting a little uncomfortable. Let's start the bet. We all throw our coins on the table. I'll go first. I drop a card. Face down on the table. 110. Silence. No one reacts. Okay, Leanna, it's your go.
Okay.
She slides a card on the table, her face completely blank.
1, 2.
2. 1, 2. 1, 2. I think you cheat. Do we say she cheats? I think she would cheat here. I have this feeling in my gut telling me she is actually cheating. So, am I correct about that or not? That's the question. Let's say cheat, whatever. I might be risking taking all of her cards, but on the other hand, she's not the type to cheat, I feel like. Let's pass for now. I bet she's telling the truth. Nobody else calls her out either. Amelia's go. Her face even more stoic than Leanna's. Amelia places the card on the table.
1 queen.
I wonder how you would be able to tell if someone cheats for. Is there some kind of quirk in the game? Let's pass for now. I don't think she's cheating, again, either as anyone else. Maybe they aren't quite understanding how to play. Oh, I guess it just is the first round. Finally, it's Zach's go. In usual Zach fashion, he stoically slips the card down.
2 8s.
Cheater.
Yeah, I mean, what? Whoa, she was fast. Without breaking from his poker face, he flips over the card to reveal different cards than 8s. Suddenly, he collects the pile. We count how many cards each person has in their hands, and whoever has the lowest number so far collects the first round of bets. Then we throw in our next round of bets. I mean, it's equal number. It's interesting that you can throw 2 cards, so I didn't know. Whatever. Okay, me again. Cheat or stay with the truth? No, the thing over here is stay with the truth. Better stick with truth. Show a tell, poker face. Let's go poker face. Let's save again just in case too. Which is a stupid thing to do, but whatever. Poker face. I keep my face as still as blank as possible. I slip 2 cards on the table. 2 3s. Nobody calls me out. So far so good. Leanna looks slightly worried at her hand, then smooths her face.
2 aces.
I wish I could see my cards as well. Okay, I think she cheated this time around. I think she did. I think she did. Yeah, I think she did this time around. Let's go. I saw that moment of worry. She's definitely cheating. Cheetah! Leanna proudly flips over 2 aces. Are you kidding me? You tricked me! She giggles. I'm so dumb. Amelia puts down her cards.
2 7s.
Listen, you know what? I'm a loser. We might as well go. Cheat. You are cheating, right? Of course you aren't. I say as I collect the pile. Thank you. Without delay, Zach lays down his cards.
2 5s.
Before anyone else has a chance to react, Amelia calls out.
Cheater.
Zach grumbles under his breath as he collects the pile.
Why did you bother bluffing when you were the one starting a new pile?
That's the best time to bluff. Nobody expects you to.
Oh.
Well, Amelia expected it.
Zach looks sideways at Amelia.
Because she's some kind of mind-reading witch.
She might be. Amelia looks smack at Zach's disgruntledness. The bet for this round goes to the winner. We start a new pot. Back to me again. I mean, to be fair, not like we are losing anything, right? We can't use the money we have anyway. It would be nice to win some money, but let's go through. Going to stick with what I do best. Sure, with hell, whatever. I might try out Leanna's strategy of tricking me. Maybe she'll fall for her own trick. I probably let it slip on my face that I might be lying. 1 king. Nobody calls me out, I guess. Once that's been done, it will be hard to fool everyone again. Well. Whatever. Leanna lays down her card looking confident.
1 king.
How many kings were dealt so far? Fuck, let's cheat. You are cheating this time, right? Leanna triumphantly flips over her card and...
You're the only one with that card. Even if you were telling the truth the last round.
I'm always telling the truth. I guess you'll never know. Again, I wish I could see at least my cards. I collect all the cards again. So called too. Amelia wears the same stony face and slips down the card.
One jack.
I pass this time. Again, I can't get read on her, so I fall back on keeping quiet. Zack plays his card.
1-6.
Again, Amelia is faster than anyone else.
Cheater.
Zack rolls in frustration.
How do you know every single time?
Amelia just stares at him with her same blank stare, which frustrates Zack even more.
This is the dumbest game ever.
Calm down. He throws his cards down the table and knocks over the coins before crossing his arms. Leanna jumps away from the table as Zack hits it. Her eyes wide, I'm able to taken back and jolt back, which wakes the Pango. Only Amelia remains unfazed.
Poi, poi?
So, should we, like, keep playing or should we stop?
Of course.
Zack picks his cards back up. Leanna and I glance at each other and burst out laughing. At first, Amelia looks at us in bewilderment, but our laughter is so contagious that she breaks a smile.
Are we playing or what?
That's so loser. And I'm here like just collecting cards because I don't care. We resume the game with smiles all around. The longer we play, the more into the game everyone became. Needless to say, Amelia correctly guessed Zack's cheats every single time, much to Zack's ever-growing frustration. Was there a mirror behind him or something like that? In the end, I won the game. Yeah, with the first to run out of cards. Yeah! As expected. You think that was not my tactics from the very beginning? It was all tactics what I did there. That's right. When we were tired of cheat, I taught them a couple of other games. It was late in the night when we all decided to turn in and go to sleep. I wonder if they played poker. The sun shines brightly through the window and splashes on my face, forcing me awake. Guess we'll have 2 days in one episode. Leanna and Amelia are both already awake, but Zack still has his head down as if he's still asleep. I look outside and squint at the sky. What time is it?
It's already past noon. We slept through the entire morning.
Nice. We did. Leanna giggles at my alarm.
Normally that would be a bad thing, but in this case it's okay. We're almost at Bazada.
I know it. I slept until 11 today. Dude, vacation is the best. Zack gradually wakes up and we all make sure we have all of our things. After another hour or two, the train stops and announces our arrival to Bazada. The sun hangs high in the sky as one by one we step off the train. As soon as I set foot in the city, I'm assaulted by the sound of voices. Makeshift stalls line... I like this place as well. Makeshift stalls line the sides of roads and alleys as people pack the streets. Traders entice onlookers to view their wares and customers hoggle in heated shouting matches. Are we going to have to travel through that? I blanch at the thought of getting trapped amidst a sea of people like sardines in a can.
We have arrived in Bazada.
This is where we'll find Ember Mist.
No, as I said, it is the closest city to Ember Mist.
Considering the bustle of this place, I find it a little hard to believe that the hidden city is so close. No wonder Leanna seems so surprised. Amelia seems to read my thoughts.
Of course, close is a relative term. We must first traverse some rough terrain and pass through the forest before we find Ember Mist.
Makes sense. She points towards the south where I can make out the tips of the treetops and then she glances up at the sky.
Considering only a few hours remain before nightfall, It may be in our best interest to spend the evening here in the city and depart in the morning.
Leanna nods.
Good thinking. This marketplace is so huge. People say you can literally buy your heart's desires here.
Is that so? Is there something you're thinking of buying?
Nothing in particular, but I would like to check out the stalls. Traders from all over the world gather here to sell their wares.
Nice!
Hi!
I glanced down at my feet and watched the pango wiggle excitedly. He cast hungry looks into the crowd. Is there a lot of magic here? I haven't seen this guy so excited since he first tried to eat me. Amelia bends down and scrutinizes him. She pokes him with a finger and the pango giggles.
Hi, boy!
I'm going to the inn. I'll meet up with you later.
Before any of us can react, Zack slips into the crowd. Should we go after him? Amelia doesn't even blink at Zack's departure. She's too preoccupied with the pango. Leanna shakes her head.
No, but since Zack left, I'm going to go too. Should we meet back up at the inn?
Sure. The question is, where is the inn? She nods and heads into the crowd. Since everyone else seems to know what they want to do, what do I want to do? Go shopping with Leanna, see what Amelia is up to, check on Zack, be a loner. Where's the option? Hang out with Pango. Pango, best companion. Dude, I think we are going to go with Leanna. Yeah, let's do that. I head in the same direction I think Leanna's gone and duck into the crowd, trying not to bump into too many people as I explore the marketplace. I've never seen a place this crowded before. It doesn't feel like walking so much is being pushed by everyone. Despite all the people, I'm fascinated by the market stalls. Merchants sell all different types of merchandise, ranging from clay, pottery to magic amulets. As I'm being pulled through the crowd, I see a glimpse of blonde hair and white armor. That must be her! I wait through the crowd and see Leanna frozen in place. Hey you! She blinks at me.
Hey!
How's the marketplace so far?
Really interesting. There's a lot of cool stuff I haven't seen before.
She seems distracted.
Do you smell that?
No. I'm breathing deeply. I don't know what I'm supposed to say. Can I have a hint? Game! Give me a hint, what does he smell? This one, fruity and sweet? An overwhelmingly sweet smell wafts by on the breeze. There isn't really no way I couldn't.
I think it's coming from that stall over there. Come on!
She darts back in the crowd and I quickly follow until we stop at a stall, filled with delicate glass bottles. Is this perfume?
Yes, welcome, welcome.
Yes, welcome, welcome. A tanned man in silken robes ushers us closer to the stall. He selects a glass bottle filled with a pale pink liquid and offers it to Leanna.
A noble scent to match such a noble woman.
Leanna blushes and delicately sniffs the bottle, her eyes widen in recognition.
Is that extract of spirit orchid?
The man grins broadly and clasps his hands together.
Yes, yes, very rare, from the far celestial mountains.
And before he lies, right?
I never expected to find this perfume here.
I guess he doesn't lie. What is it? Leanna offers me the bottle and I take a tentative whiff. It smells fruity, like a cross between an apple and a pear. Is it a flower? She nods.
The spirit orchid. It only grows in the deep forest of the celestial mountain range.
Why is it called the spirit orchid?
The roots are a very pale white. And when it grows, it almost looks like it's floating midair, like a spirit.
Ah. That's kind of neat. She nods absent-mindedly and continues to hold the bottle. Do you want to get it? Leanna quickly shakes her head.
Oh, sorry. It just reminds me of home.
What?
My grandmother used to wear this perfume whenever she left the house. When I was little, that meant taking me down to the market.
Oh. She smiles fondly at the memory, but her eyes hold a hint of sadness.
I loved wandering the shops and stalls. It didn't matter if I had nothing to buy. It was a chance to leave the house and be like everyone else.
It sounds like you didn't get to go out much?
It was complicated.
She doesn't offer up any more information and turns the bottle to a blank spot on the shelf. Although she's been very helpful in helping me understand this world, Leanna doesn't talk about her past much. Hey, we want some money, right? Let's buy it. We want some money in cards, man. Come on. I glance at her again. She looks pensively at the bottle, a small crease in her brow. Suddenly a new scent comes through the floral perfumes. It smells like cinnamon. Ugh. I hate cinnamon. And spice. Cookies! Hey Diana, do you smell that? She jolts out of her coats and blinks.
Smell what?
You know what, I would be able to smell any kind of citrus if I was there. Like, someone has oranges or tangerines or something like that. I'm in. It's funny how I would be able to smell that stuff basically across entire school sometimes. You could be on the other end of the school, I would smell that. Anyway, I think it's coming from the stall over there. I agree, and just as she did before, I dart back into the street.
Hey, wait!
We weave through the people before stopping in front of a stall filled with an assortment of baked goods. I breathe in the heavy sweetness of sugar and sigh contentedly. Except cinnamon is disgusting. Leanna closes her eyes and inhales.
It smells so delicious!
I browse the array of cookies and tiny cakes. Leanna gasps.
They have cinnamon parfaits.
No! Cinnamon is not good! Come on! Blech. What are those?
They're cinnamon and vanilla custard layers with apricots.
Okay, vanilla better, definitely.
What do you think looks good?
I tried the cinnamon parfaits. No, cupcakes. I don't like sweets. I shouldn't. Cupcakes. I'm gonna go cupcakes here. I hate cinnamon. I can't say no to cake, especially when they're bite-sized for a portion control.
That's basically healthy, right?
Yeah, exactly! Finally someone else who understands. Leanna grins. I fish in my pocket for my winnings from yesterday. Today's treats are on me. Leanna looks amused.
Are you sure you want to use your life savings?
I chuckle. Don't worry, you've been very generous towards me ever since Meadow Hill. This is the least I can do to repay you. Even though technically it's your money a bit. So. Anyway, I know it's not much, but please consider this as a token of my appreciation. Leanna smiles bashfully.
Thank you.
I grin, then pay for a cinnamon parfait for Leanna and a dessert for myself. Cheers! I hold up my dessert and take a bite. As the sweetness melts on my tongue, I let out a contented sigh. This is even better than I imagined! Leanna giggles and lets out an equally happy sigh as she bites into her cinnamon parfait.
This is why I love markets.
I nod in agreement as we return to the street. One of the guards in the marketplace notices Leanna's Mage Guild emblem and pulls her over to talk.
Sorry, I need to take this.
That son of a... Since this looks like official business, I better leave them be. We can catch up later then. She smiles.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I did not expect that to happen. Let's go to Amelia, because I think our slimy thing was with her, right? I decide to seek out Amelia. I stand by awkwardly while Amelia mutters to herself. She seems to be in the middle of something and doesn't notice my presence.
Male, adolescent, of the cerulean variant.
What? She holds out her bracelet. The Pango blinks at it, then looks back at her. Amelia cocks her head to the side as she observes him. With Amelia's attention still on him, the Pango scoots closer to the bracelet and looks at her again.
Go on.
He cautiously sniffs at the bracelet, then sticks a tongue out to lick the air. Afterwards, he grins wildly at Amelia.
Boy?
Interesting. Normally, a cerulean pongo will leave out even the slightest trace of magical residue.
Amelia doesn't have a chance to finish as the Pango springs into her arms. She fumbles the catch and pulls the Pango close to her chest to stabilize him.
What do you think you're...
He was exactly after that. Her voice trails off as she looks down at the still smiling Pango. Amelia blinks as the cushion melts away from her face. The corners of her mouth curl up in a smile and she squeezes the Pango in a cuddle. The Pango whizzes as he's squished against her chest. That's what he was after. Oh, so cute! Join in. Join in! Oh my god. Let's not risk. Should I be watching this? Let's say, oh, so cute! Oh, you do like him! Amelia gasps and drops her arms, letting the Pango tumble to the ground.
I was merely conducting analysis.
The Pango hops back in her arms and snuggles against her. Amelia's cheeks tinge pink. She clears her throat.
Regardless, I am going to the apothecary.
Apothecary. Can we just heal with magic?
Yes, there are mages who specialize in healing magic, but they use earth magic which neither Leanna nor I possess.
What? You want to tell me only earth magic can heal? What?
As such, you will need to purchase healing items to treat a wound.
That's very inconvenient. Makes sense to me. Would you like me to go with you?
No, it will be faster if I go alone.
Before I even have a chance to react, she turns on her heel and walks away. As she goes, the Pango pops his face over her shoulder and gazes longingly at me. It's alright. A single tear rolls down his cheek. Pango! I reach out for him as the distance between us grows. Wait a minute, why is he making that face? He could literally leave at any time and just come back to me. Come back! He turns around and disappears from my view. That sneaky little Pango. I can't blame him. Check on Zach. Zach went straight to the inn in Illumia too. What's going on at all these inns? I'd like to know too. I rush in the street and look for any sign of the inn. Luckily I managed to spot Zach in the crowd before he disappears back into the sea of people. You know what? It's funny how all those scenes are actually written in a way that you actually went straight after that same person. And there is no consideration for other choices to be made first. Just a little thing to point out, you know. Shoving my way down the street, I unlock the inn just in time to see Zach. He stands in front of a large notice board filled with pinned papers. As I get closer, I can make out some of the flyers, which include a portrait of a scowling face and a large monetary number. Is Zach checking out wanted posters? Maybe he's looking for a specific bounty. I'm about to call out to him when a young blonde wearing a skin-tight suit of armor flounces over to him. Twirling a lock of hair between her fingers, she seems to study the board. Every so often she shoots pointed glances over to Zach, hoping to catch his eyes, but his attention never wavers from the board. Finally she speaks.
Do you have a bounty on your heart?
Oh my god, this is going to be some cheesy bullshit. For the first time since her arrival, Zach looks at her, she grins devilishly.
Because I'm looking to collect.
He refocuses on the board and she froze. For her second attempt, she bumps up her ample chest and touches his arm as she speaks in a sickly sweet voice.
So, are you a bounty hunter?
Zach shrugs her arm off of him.
No.
Then you must be a mercenary.
He does not swear. She seems to take that as a sign of encouragement and her sultry smile returns. She leans close to him and runs her fingers up his arm.
I've got a mission that I could use some help with. Are you for hire?
Again, Zach brushes her hands off of him and steps away from her.
No.
She seems a little taken back, but quickly recovers and slides closer to him. So annoying.
Are you sure there isn't something I could offer to change your mind?
No.
She sighs before clustering that same smile and lets out a small laugh.
Geez, you're kind of dense. I was hoping to spend some intimate time with you. So, what do you say?
Let me help you. The answer will be no.
No thanks. But if I'm ever in need of your services, then I'll go find you at the brothel.
Oh boy! Oh. The woman's eyes grow wide, like saucers. With a sharp half, she tries to slap Zack, who sidesteps out of the way. She lets out another half before storming off. No, I'm not interested in her at all, to be honest. Watch her leave. I hustle out her way as she stomps towards the exit. Woo! Sorry, she did not look happy. Well, that was weird. I go stand beside Zack. What was that about? He shrugs.
Who cares?
I take a look at the wanted posters on the board. Most of these faces look like the generic, withered and scared bandits I imagined. Is this what you had to take care of in Illumia? Zack faces his expressionless eyes on me. When you first reached Illumia, the first thing you did was find Vayne, and then when we came here, you did the exact same thing. He relaxes slightly and nods.
Just staying up to date on the news.
Sounds like the life of the mercenary is pretty interesting.
Something like that.
Excuse me, are you a mercenary?
Oh my god, here we go again. As one, Zack and then turn to face another scantily dressed woman. This one has fiery red hair and a mischievous gleam in her eye. Zack narrows his eyes.
Yes.
Are you sure you're not a rogue? Because you've just stolen my heart.
Zack sighs and face palms. Same man, I just did the same thing. I have a bad feeling about this. Zack ends up shaking her off and searches for the innkeeper to buy a drink. I'm ready for a little bit of me time. I head into the crowds and appreciate all the marketplace has to offer. After exploring the city, I meet up with the rest of the group back at the inn. Is this how women feel when guys hit on them despite them not wanting to be hit on? Probably. Tensions are high as we eat in silence. I think everyone is a mixture of weariness and anxiety for the next leg of our journey. Even the Pango is strangely silent and obedient. Once we finish eating, we head upstairs to find our rooms. Upon finding her room, Leanna suddenly perks up.
Oh, Amelia, you and I will be sharing a room tonight.
I mean, as expected? Amelia speaks dismissively.
Naturally. That would be more appropriate than the alternative.
She pauses then looks at Leanna with interest.
Are you insinuating that you would rather share a bedroom with them?
Amelia points to Zack and me. What?
What? No! Of course not!
Oh, I feel offended!
Oh, my mistake. Of course you could not have met both of them. There aren't nearly enough beds. You must have meant him.
Amelia points to me. What? Leanna's face starts pink and she shakes her head. Okay, sometimes they blush, sometimes they don't. But whatever.
Amelia, that's not true!
If that is false, then why is your face red?
I wonder if she does this on purpose.
The point is, I'd obviously rather share a room with you.
Amelia blinks.
If that is the case, then why even bring it up?
Because I'm excited. It'll be nice to have some girl time.
Amelia studies Leanna and then nods.
I concur. Sharing a room has proven to strengthen bonds amidst peers and foster camaraderie.
You know what? We might be in need of 3 beds given that Zack puts his weapons in one of them.
You mean make friends?
Precisely.
Leanna grins and Amelia smiles back.
Poi?
We all glance down the Pango by our feet. Is it my imagination or is he trying to ask us which room is he going to sleep in tonight? Amelia snatches him up in her arms.
The Pongo needs to spend the night with us tonight. We need him for science.
What? You're into that stuff too? What? As Amelia slips in their bedroom, Leanna nods rapidly.
Yes, for science.
And then follows Amelia in their room and slams the door shut. There is someone who saw us as Zack and I stare at the closed door.
Is it just me, or did that seem unusually suspicious to you?
That's definitely suspicious. It doesn't seem, it is suspicious. Use me instead. Is the Pango really that special? For some reason I feel like we missed out by not securing the Pango. Zack shakes head.
More like we dodged a blast.
Don't you mean bullet?
Bullet?
I guess idioms don't translate well here. Never mind, never mind. Still baffled by what happened, Zack and I enter our room and get ready for bed. Although the train was more comfortable than expected, it cannot compare to a real bed. As I snuggled into the blankets, I soon drift into a restful slumber. Are you sure? Are you sure it was restful slumber? Are you sure you haven't heard some noises from the bedroom next to you? Where Pango was? Yeah, I'm afraid Pango might have been defiled there. Well, happens, I guess. Anywho, for now let's end it. We'll of course continue tomorrow. I have a lot of fun playing this game, not gonna lie. Hope you guys enjoy watching this as well. And hopefully we'll drop by tomorrow. In the meantime, of course, you can like the video if you are finished with it. You can tell me if you agree with me that they definitely used Pango in a certain manner. And subscribe, of course, if you haven't already. That would be very much appreciated, as we are going after that 2,000 subscribers very slowly. There is also Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, to which we can go if you want, and that's about it. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye bye.